When it comes to learning a language, there are some things you must absolutely do and others that will lead you straight to failure. So today I'm going to give you the 5 do's and the 5 don'ts of language learning. Let's start with my first do and don't. Do learn enough words and phrases. Vocabulary is one of the foundations of language learning. Without words and sentences, you cannot understand, let alone start speaking a language. So my first do is about learning as many words as possible, as quickly as possible. You can leave grammar for later, you can put off speaking practice, but you cannot delay vocabulary acquisition. But especially as a beginner, you'll face a big issue. There are just too many words to learn. But don't get overwhelmed. Get organized. The most effective strategy is to focus on words that are most commonly used in spoken language and words that are particularly useful to you. For example, if you need language for your professional life, focus your efforts on work-related vocabulary. Here we have our first do and don't. Do learn a sufficient amount of words and phrases, but do not learn words and expressions randomly. Let's move on to our second do. Do learn grammar. Grammar is definitely useful for boosting your language skills and taking them to the next level. But here at Mosalingua, we firmly believe that you should not introduce grammar into your language practice too soon. As I said, grammar is a wonderful tool, but it's also a very dangerous one. Grammar can be tricky. Grammar can be boring. Grammar can keep you from expressing yourself freely because when you start with grammar, then whenever you open your mouth, you'll constantly be thinking about rules and exceptions. This will have a negative impact on the flow of your conversation. Instead, only study a grammar rule when you feel the need for it. If you want to tell a friend about your plans for your upcoming vacation, then study the future tense. This way you will put the rules you learn to use right away, which helps you remember them. So my second do and don't. Learn grammar, but not too early on. The third thing on my list, do spend time working on pronunciation and your accent. Your pronunciation is a real game changer. A learner with a good pronunciation will stand out. It's very important to get pronunciation right from the very beginning, because once you assimilate the wrong pronunciation, it's a bad habit that's hard to kick. That said, don't wait until you have a perfect accent to speak. Developing good pronunciation takes time and practice, and the best way to practice is to try it out in a conversation. If you're shy, start with self-conversation, but engage with a real person as soon as possible. Ideally, you want to talk to native speakers so that they can correct you pronunciation mistakes. So, do spend time working on your pronunciation and accent, but don't obsess over perfection. Here comes our fourth do. Do listen to the language every single day. This one is very important even when you are a beginner and you do not understand much. You need to get familiar with the sounds and structures of your target language, so listen to it as much as you can. But I know that it can be frustrating when you do not understand what you hear, so my recommendation is to take a progressive approach. At the beginning, do not use listening material that it's too hard for you. I'm talking about resources created for native speakers. You'll learn much more if you use content that is adapted to your level. For instance, podcasts designed with language learners in mind. But to be honest, many learners have trouble finding listening material that is both interesting and at their level. This was the main reason we created Mosa series, our original audio story that takes a very step-by-step approach in terms of difficulty. So do listen to the language every single day, but do not use listening material that is too hard for you. And let's conclude with my fifth And final, do. Do speak the language as early as possible with a language partner. I know this is something that some learners would avoid like hell, but language is a skill that you can only acquire with practice, so at some point you need to speak with someone. And I say, the sooner you start, the better. I recorded a video about when and how to start speaking a foreign language. Have a look at it if you want to know more. You have the link in the description as always. Generally speaking, you should start getting some speaking practice after about 3 months. But especially for your first conversation, do not go into a conversation with a language partner without preparing yourself. Good preparation for your first conversation can mean the difference between success and failure. And if you succeed, you'll be encouraged to have another conversation and then another, and so on. Preparing means choosing the topics you want to talk about or listing specific words and phrases you want to use. You can also prepare some SOS phrases to help you out if you do not understand the other person. You want her or him to speak more slowly and to repeat themselves. So do speak the language as soon as possible with a language partner, but do not go into a conversation without any preparation. So to wrap things up, the 5 language learning do's and don'ts are: first, do learn words and phrases, but don't learn them randomly. Second, do learn grammar, but don't focus on rules and exceptions right away. Third, do spend time working on your pronunciation and accent, but don't try to be perfect. Fourth, do listen to the language every single day, but don't use listening material which is too hard for you. And the last one, do speak your target language as soon as possible with the language partner, but do not forget to prepare your conversation. Of course, there are many things to do and not to do when you learn a foreign language. On the Mozzalingua channel, you can find tons of videos and tips to help you avoid common pitfalls and adopt the best practices. That's all for today. Take care. Thank you.
If you learned something new from this video, give it a thumbs up, then hit subscribe and turn on your notifications. Have a look around our channel for more hacks and tips. And if you're watching on another social media platform, like or follow our page. See you next time.